All right, boys, coming up, we have the final fantasy baseball podcast before the season. It's opening day. It's here. I'm excited for it. So big opening day podcast coming, or opening weekend podcast coming on Monday. But until then, Vince and I did our best ball draft. We did a draft together, talked about all the picks, and then we talked a little bit about my draft in the Sandlot League and kind of gave you an idea of what our league is going to look like. So get ready for some smack talk, really just more a relaxing, fun episode. And if you're lucky, you get to watch me eat a sandwich for part of the episode. So definitely worth watching if you're not watching this right now. If you're listening to it, it's going to be a little bit of a more complex listen. And if you are smart enough, you can handle that. And I trust in you. So all that and a whole lot more coming up on the Just Fantasy Baseball podcast right after this. Welcome back to the Just Fantasy Baseball podcast. We're doing a special one tonight. It's opening day eve, or as you're listening to this, it's already opening day. So Vince and I are doing a best ball draft as we promised we would. So we're doing it right now. I got a sandwich in front of me. We're going to have some fun. I don't even have I have some show notes. That's the craziest part. I do have some show notes that we'll get to. We'll get to the draft going, but we're live. Our draft is probably live as we speak. So if I don't see you, good luck. We have 36 seconds and counting. Are you Storm?
I am not Storm, no. See if you can find my name.
Are you Blue Jays?
I am not. Keep going.
Mock Drafter 10. The rest of them are Mock Drafter.
No, there's one that's not.
Rami Noodles? I thought that was me and you made that name. So I'm Mock Drafter 10.
Yeah, you're Mock Drafter 10. I was going to say, you should change your name. Yes, my name is Rami Noodles. I thought
it's
of
like
that.
ramen noodles. I get it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Have you heard that before? Have people?
Oh, no, I haven't heard that before. So original.
No, I don't. Maybe you have. I don't know.
All right, the draft has started. The first guy off the board. Most of these are going to be auto drafted, but the idea here is just so that, just a little fun, a little chemistry game for us and for you to listen along. And then we'll follow it along through the season, kind of have a best ball draft, see who did better at the end of the year. So it'll be fun for us and fun for the listeners to follow along. We can kind of talk smack throughout the year. And speaking of, it's already started because our league, the Sandlot, obviously we did our draft. It's good. This guy Blue Jays is going to take his time. So we'll...
Oh, I think they might, Rami, it might just be us two, if I'm being honest, because the first guy looks like he's been put on auto draft already. So this will be fun though. I kind of like it because then, there's it's like nobody else is involved. Like it's just.
Yeah, the pace will move. I mean, but the two of us will have to take up all the time. We're not even going to have stuff to talk about. I might not even be able to eat my steak sandwich that I just made, which is great. I'm wearing this hat, though, if you're watching this. Julio Rodriguez went second overall. So
I was going to ask about the hat. Explain the hat.
It's World Series 2023 World Series. I was at MLB Network today with WFAN, which is so funny. I got they let me back in the building after last year. I was disinvited from MLB Network because I was talking about baseball on WFAN. True story. They didn't like that I had a voice, that was technically representing Major League Baseball. Anyway, that's the short story. But it was fun to be back today. A couple familiar faces who knew me, which was funny. Mookie Betts went third overall. And we did our show today, the midday show with Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata. As like an opening day special. We did it live from Studio 42. So we had Harold Reynolds in studio. We had Al Leiter in studio. We had Brian Kenny in studio. We had Mark DeRosa in studio, who said he was, fun story, he broke news on the show. He lost out. He was second place to get the Mets manager job, ultimately, to Mickey Callaway, the Predator. So that's a fun story. Imagine that if you're Mark DeRosa. And obviously, he did a great job with Team USA. So this is basically what's going to be happening. We're just going to be talking. So your pick is coming up. Talk me through your pick. What's going through your mind here? You already see Mookie off the board. You see Julio off the boards. You see Ronald Acuna off the boards. Where are you thinking? I have a feeling I know where you want to go. But you're in a couple picks. So what do you think?
With all of these auto picks that are going to happen, it's going to be Juan Soto and Spencer Strider at 5 and 6. And so then I'm at 7. And I can go Aaron Judge, Kyle Tucker, Fernando Tatis. Could even go Bobby Witt. I will probably go Kyle Tucker only because I don't have any shares of him this year. Typically, these top Brown guys are tough to get shares of. So I have most other guys, but Kyle Tucker is one that I have not found myself with. So I will probably be going there. And I wanted to ask you too, because you said you listened to the episode where I talked about your team. Walk me through a little bit about what your thoughts were there, if you have time.
I don't want to blow my load in the first opening minutes of this draft. By the way, don't mind me eating. When this goes out on YouTube, everyone's gonna be making fun of me. I'm like eating on the show.
For eating, yeah.
I mean, this is supposed to be like we're just supposed to be doing like a fancy
hanging
draft.
out.
This is supposed to be relaxing. It was like I was gonna get popcorn. I said we should get some beers, but I forgot to get any, so that was that. That was on me. So I wrote notes. I took notes from the show. And so maybe we'll hit them as we go because your pick's coming up next. And like you said, you're probably going to take Kyle Tucker, and I agree. That was going to be the pick that I was going to guess that you were going to take. So,
yeah,
I think
it's already having a sheriff. I think if I didn't have any Tatis, if I didn't have any Tatis, I might go Tatis. But yeah, being here, so I am up, and I will grab Kyle Tucker.
All right. So I mocked after 10.
So another couple picks, and then
which is going to be confusing for me. I should have changed my name.
You can still change it.
How? Where? I don't
if
even
you
know.
Go to like you'd have to leave the draft room. In order
okay. So all right. Maybe
not
after my first 2 picks, I'll leave the draft room and come back because that way it'll bounce back around to me. Okay. Your main point was Adley was not a great pick in that spot. And if you're not sure what we're talking about, Vince graded my last draft that we did in our league called Sandlot. And that's a previous episode. So you go back and listen to that last episode. Look, I agree, but I think there's a real chance that he's far and away. I think catcher's pretty deep, but I think there's a chance that he's far and away better than any other catcher. By the way, you know who I'm drafting here, right?
Adley.
No. Who do you think I'm drafting that's going to exactly
Freddie Freeman?
Freddie Freeman.
We all know where you're going.
I keep saying that I do think Trey Turner would have still been available on the turn to me, and that's why. So it wouldn't have been Freddie over Trey. It would have been Freddie, in my opinion. It would have been Freddie over what's his name, Jose Ramirez.
I want to say because I think Tatis was still on the board too. So you're taking Freddie over Tatis.
Yeah, and here Tatis is gonna go first because it's a mock draft and it's everyone's going chalk, and it does change a little bit because everyone's going chalk, and now my turn is on the clock. I would take Ohtani, but I don't want to take the bet on him. You know, it's a risky gamble. Funny.
That was good.
I know, it was pretty good. So we went Freddie Freeman. I'm gonna be making those jokes for a long time. I made a few of those jokes at MLB Network today. And they didn't like it, but I don't work there anymore. You can't fire me if I don't work here. It was actually really funny. My one of my coworkers, Salicata, who's a fun guy, he was commenting on some of the negative headlines at MLB today, and I was like, dude, you're gonna get the HR call that I got 7 months ago, or 6 months ago, whatever, the end of the season last year. Anyway, not the point.
You're talking.
It was really fun. What'd you got?
No, yeah, I was just going to go back to so the Adley pick, right? Like that was in the 4th round. This is the start of the 4th round, right? No, you'd be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so start of the 4th round. He probably wasn't going to make it back to you. Like I think that much was clear.
Exactly.
I think it just the reason I think I had an issue with it, not so much in the moment, but later was you just kind of
and pitching were kind of weak.
Yeah, you were kind of like left to scramble there, and so
I think I got so many steals. Like Chas McCormick was a pick that I really, it was one of the picks that I really deliberated on. It was one of the only times that I really appreciated the long draft because I was thinking, I was like, wow, who do I want here? Who do I want here? And I went back to it a few times. It was the only time I really did that, the whole draft, that I like exited and thought about it and then exited and like asked in the group chat, what should I do? And I was like, man, this guy has really high upside for an outfielder. And Jose Siri too. I don't like, I think the Rays, I just put a future bet. Okay. Bobby Witt, Shohei Ohtani, Jose Ramirez, and Matt Olson all went. I want to go Trey Turner here, but for the sake of keeping it different from our other league, and for that sake alone, Give me Bryce Harper, baby. I love Bryce, and you have him in the other league. So
I do. I'm a big fan.
if
of
you go
Bryce
chalk,
Harper.
I'm going to kill you. So you're up. Jordan
I feel
Alvarez
like
just went.
I know I would have taken Jordan.
Now it's
there.
real quick. We're gonna have to like figure it out because
Yeah,
now that they're all on auto pick,
right,
the picks are gonna go pretty fast. So you're up.
I am
You
going
have
shock
Austin-
here.
you have
I'm sorry. Yep, it's
Austin Riley.
happening. Yep, had to go Austin Riley there.
So then Corbin Burns went, Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon, Rafael Devers, Ozzy Albies, and Kevin Gosman to close out round 2. Pete Alonso to lead off round 3. That's good value.
Yeah,
You know, Wheeler, I love Zach
3-2.
Wheeler, who I love.
Oh, my draft just kind of froze for a second, but okay.
Oh, well, it's your turn. Zach Allen, what just went? Give me 40 seconds. Talk me through it.
Wow.
I'm going to take a bite of my sandwich.
Most of the hitters here are gone, at least the ones that I would want. I will probably go pitcher then. Because I have a third base, so I won't take Gunnar. It's too early for Kyle Schwarber. Not crazy about Altuve, Adolis, Luis Robert. So I will take Luis Castillo, another pitcher that I don't have any shares of. I think I got to turn this sound down.
I love Luis Castillo. He was one of my steals in my other draft.
Sure.
Because I got him for what, like $23 or whatever. Help me out.
I remember
here.
you saying that. Yep. What are you thinking? What's your thought process here?
I don't love Pablo Lopez. I don't love Jose Altuve. I know they'll both be gone. I could get Logan Webb on the turn. Can I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he'll be there if I don't take anyone in the top 4. And George Kirby. They'll both be there. Do you like Bo Bichette here? Or is it too early?
Bo Bichette. I don't mind Bo Bichette. I'm also surprised, too, that you went 2 first basemen in a row there. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not.
I didn't, but, you know, my infield's going to be loaded.
Yeah.
All right, so it's coming back to me. And do you like Logan Webb or George Kirby?
Probably would take Kirby, but Webb, I mean, if it depends, I think, too, on what you're seeing later. So do you think you can get strikeouts later? Or do you think keeping your ERAs in check? Because
who's weak on strikeouts?
Both of them a little bit. You could even go, if you really wanted to reach, Tyler Glasnow or Aaron Nola. I like Aaron Nola. Actually, that'd probably be my pick, or Tariq Skubal over Webb and Kirby. They just offer a little bit more upside. Okay.
I think the Giants are going to be so good this year.
Their defense should be phenomenal.
Yeah. All right. So Kirby and Glasnow just went right after, because that's how the mock draft is set up. And you are back on the clock.
Yeah, so there is 5 outfield spots.
I still wish they would give us the time, even though it's not taking the time for the picks.
It would just take way too long at that point.
I know. But this is way too quick. There's got to be something.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to think about. Do I double tap Atlanta?
I mean, it's better than a long
Harris. Hey, watch your mouth. I'm thinking Michael Harris, but I already have a share of Michael. Let's go Cowboy Randy here. Since this is a best ball.
I was hoping you'd go Adley just so I could climb.
No, I thought about but I was like, I can't.
You can't do that. You already. I mean, so Adley went right after you. Nola, Michael Harris. Is that Yamamoto? See, that's the problem. No one would take Yamamoto. And Trout went. How are you feeling on Blake Snell? Blake Snell went. And is your backup. So how do you feel about Blake Snell now that he's in San Francisco?
Hold on. Sorry. Let me just take O'Neal Cruz here. Well, I know I'm going to take O'Neal Cruz, but I feel good about Blake Snell. I think Blake Snell will fall somewhere in the middle. A lot of people are thinking he's going to fall off a cliff, and I was one of those people last year, but I think his true talent is somewhere in the middle of his Cy Young career or Cy Young award winner, and then falling off a cliff. Like, he walks way too many guys, and it's going to come back to bite him. So I think that's just the name of the game or the nature of it. But I think he is still a good pitcher. That's kind of what he does, is he pitches away from guys and tries to beat them with quality pitches on the outside corner, stuff like that. So I think, and he landed in a great ballpark. Yeah, and Matt Chapman obviously helps that defense quite a bit. So I am a fan of the signing, especially fantasy terms. I think that only ups his fantasy value. It's one of the best places he could have gone. So I am a fan of it.
I'm gonna double down on pitching here and go Dylan
Mhm.
Cease.
Good pairing. Logan Webb, good ratios. Dylan Cease, high strikeouts. I think that's a good pair right there.
And now I might go back to Grayson Rodriguez. How do you feel about him? Is that a little bit of a reach there?
No,
The other
no, I
guy I
don't think
like
that's a
here is
reach at all.
Glaber Torres, because I know he's not going to come back around to me.
Right. Fill up that second base hole.
Yeah, so there's Grayson, or I could go Matt McLean, obviously, who's probably the more chalk pick at second base.
Matt McLean might be out for the season. Do not pick Matt McLean.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then there's CJ Abrams. I got 15 seconds.
I should have let you pick Matt McLean.
Yeah, you should have. You know what? I'm going to have great pitching. I love Grayson. I think he's going to have a big year. Al Leiter said it today. It's that simple sometimes. Meanwhile,
I thought Luzardo was going to make it back. All right. I think I got to take another.
McLean, no one's going to take him. Even if it's auto draft, are they not going to take McLean?
No, they will. They will still take McLean.
Whatever.
Justin Steele's available. I think I have to go for an arm here. Got two outfielders. I feel good about my offense. Arm. So Justin Steele's an option. Joe Ryan, I'm not crazy about. I'd rather go Zach Eflin than Joe Ryan.
I love Zach Eflin here.
Actually thinking Bobby Miller. I don't have any shares of Bobby Miller. So I think I'm going to lock him up as my SP2. Luis Castillo, Bobby Miller.
I'm good on starting pitchers for a while. I really like Grayson's upside. I just think he's a little too volatile for what I usually would pick in a starting pitcher, especially in the 6th round.
Something I didn't think about too. Are we able to share the draft room screen? Is that
on here?
So people, yeah.
Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. Let me make this pick. Let me make this pick first. Oh, I guess they won't take Matt McLean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought he was going to be gone. Okay, well,
yeah,
he's just going to sit there forever.
Yeah, he will.
So
and what are the rules? One of the big things you talked about is knowing the rules of the league. Well, what rules are we rocking with here?
Sure. So let me think about my pick here for a second.
Yeah, go for it. Talk me through it.
Let's see. Not a lot of positions that I like. Maybe I go Torkelson. I'm thinking Torkelson, Casas, because after that there's kind of a fall off. But I'm also thinking maybe Cole Reagans. And I'm going to go Cole Reagans because I'm just going to triple tap. That way I got 3 good pitchers I feel great about. I think there's enough value at first base, and I like my offense enough already that I can wait on it. So yeah,
the reason I'm asking is because I kind of want Edwin Diaz here, but if we're doing the same thing where it's saves and
I believe it is saves and holds.
Well, then screw that.
Double check that
and give me. I already have a shortstop. You know what? Oof. He's gonna come back in a minute. 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Xander's going to be my middle infielder in addition to shortstop. I love Xander. All right. So Diaz went. Contreras went. That's who I was thinking. Do you think it's too early for this guy?
I guess it is saves. I'm sorry. I misled you. It is saves.
That's fine. Yep. You're trying to kill my draft.
Home runs, RBIs, runs, stolen bases, and there's a batting average league, and then saves, Ks, wins, not quality starts, wins, ERA, and WHIP. Wins might have changed my Cole Reagans pick, but I still don't feel that bad about it.
Yeah, wins does change things. You know what? I'm going to take... You know what? Give me Camilo Duvall. He's not going to come back to me. And I'll get those saves there. I like him better than I do like Class A.
I like Class A. Maybe going Class A here. I do also want to mention too, since this is a technically it's a mock draft, your bench I don't think matters because you can't be rotating players in and out. So it will only take the scoring of your your live team.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
Draft accordingly. And you know what? You said no Emmanuel Clase. I think I will take Emmanuel Clase.
The only reason why is I just think, like I said, I think San Francisco is going to be good. So I like it, how many save opportunities Duvall's going to get.
Yeah.
It wasn't an anti-Class A thing. I just...
Sure. If I didn't have a Duvall share already, I may have thought about that one if he was still around.
Oh, Lane Thomas going is going to hurt me. I love that guy.
You know,
his shares in all leagues.
I'm so sad that Seiya Suzuki just went because I would have loved to take Seiya there.
No Cubs bias at all.
No, it's the bias of him hitting 450 this spring. Yeah, that's the bias. The guy's on fire.
I know where I'm going with my next pick if you don't take him here, but I won't say anything.
I will take. I think you like this guy. Well,
I can't see the screen that you're sharing.
I think this guy's still gonna be there, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a higher floor guy, someone that I know you like.
Oh, that's my guy! You took my freaking guy. I wanted Teoscar.
Sorry about that.
Who was the other guy you were debating?
Well, I can't tell you because he might come. He's gonna come back to me.
Yeah, I was gonna do it right back to you. You know what? Is Merrill Kelly healthy?
Merrill Kelly, I believe, is healthy. Yes.
Give me the best pitching staff in this entire league.
I'm not liking not having a second baseman, but I'm not gonna.
I don't love having a ton of these pitchers because pitchers are so volatile. Like again, I keep talking about that. You don't like not having a second baseman, so that leads me to think that you want Andres Jimenez, huh? Wouldn't it be sad if I just took him?
Would it? I don't know.
You know what? I just might take him. Don't I need outfielders? I need outfielders so bad. But this is my thing. I get into these points in the draft where I'm like, I don't have them now. So, like, what's waiting a little longer going to do? Like, the drop off from here to, like, the worst guys or worse, whatever, not as good guys is not that much anymore.
Okay.
Oh, I auto-picked for me.
My God. Did it really? No! Jordan Walker. That's who I was going for. I thought he was going to last.
So I was going to take Jimenez or Andres. Yeah. So
Andres Jimenez. That's okay. Yeah. I will take no Midwest bias here. Christian Encarnacion Strand. I think that's great value. There goes Jimenez right after.
That's fine. I'm fine with Ozuna. I think he'll have a really good year.
I don't think it's a bad one. No,
I'm not bad. I'm not mad about that.
Oh, you know what? It's too bad Wyatt Langford's not going to make it back around because is he? If he makes it, that's my pick. He did. I'm taking Wyatt Langford, which is interesting because usually in these I preach floor, but this one I feel like Wyatt Langford feels like high floor already.
My guy,
so back to you.
My guy Alec Boehm just went, so I'm going Chas McCormick again.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just looked at him before and saw he was going to come back around when I was doing that little, hey, I need outfielders bit.
And, you know, because this is a best ball too, I do think maybe I should be focusing on some James Outman, good value in the 12th round. Maybe I should be grabbing
Outman and Raleigh there is pretty good.
Yeah, those are good picks.
I almost want to go Yanni or Diaz. What's TJ Friedel with?
He is out for a few weeks. I can't
do pitchers are out for a few weeks. I'm sorry. You know,
he is
15 seconds. Who do I like here?
Oh, and wrists are kind of scary too.
Give me Yannier. I'll take that catcher. If that was a pick, I'll be honest. That's a pick where I'm like,
you know,
I wanted Cal Riley and I didn't get him, so I chose basically McCormick over Riley because I did the math and one of them was coming back, the other wasn't. You know.
Yes. Sorry, I was just upset because Bailey Ober got taken in front of me.
Well, you went Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, I did. The recently signed Jordan Montgomery.
Dude, baseball's a mess with these contracts. I think that baseball's in a bad spot. Like, this is not good for Major League Baseball. What's Paul Sewald hurt with now, too? Jeez, all my guys are hurt.
Grade 2 left oblique strain. Yeah, that's not
Oh,
good.
my God. That's not good at all.
Let's see.
I think I know who I'm going to take here. It's between a couple of guys. No, I don't know who I'm going to take. Screw it. Oh, I know who I'm going to take.
Let's go here. I went with Andres Munoz for my 13th round. Bryce Miller's a good pick there.
All right.
You got
This guy's going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The guy I really want is going to come back, so I'll take him then. So I'm not even going to tell you who that is. Let's go and load up on his pitching a little bit more. I think this guy's going to have a big year. Tristan McKenzie.
Okay. I hope he does. He's a guy I've been rooting for a long time.
Yeah, he's a fun guy, big personality. And here's my guy that I'm going to take here. You loved this pick in my previous draft. It was why I waited so long to take second base once I didn't get those top second basemen. And it's Thairo Estrada. I'm going to wait the next 25 seconds just so I can talk about that real quick.
Sure.
I think like that was the main thing where it's like, okay, once I'm not getting those guys at the top of the second base, I kept looking at him like, and then finally when I took him, I was like, hey, now I have to take him. Like I don't have a choice anymore. But I waited as long as I possibly could. I love Thairo. Like Luis Ariz just went in this draft. Thairo Estrada is significantly better than Luis Ariz, in my opinion.
I do also think just because, well, I guess he will make it back to me, won't he? This is moving so fast. I didn't expect it.
I know, it's crazy. Our starting lineups are almost full.
I know.
Uh-oh. That music.
Yeah.
Stress 5, 4, 3.
What my outfield? Because there's a guy that, maybe I should have taken just in case he makes it back. But if Jorge Polanco makes it back, I am going to take Jorge Polanco.
I love Duran, by the way, from Boston there. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to mention, too, because there was one pick that I think I gave you a little bit of slack for in that episode that now may look a little better, is your Jordan Hicks pick. So,
dude, the guy has been lights out in spring. That was one of my notes.
Yeah. His last start, after our draft, I mean, his last start, he looked unbelievable. The only thing, and it's the thing that we've been hoping for forever, is just that he stays healthy. That's it. But he looks really good.
Dude, I'm all in on him. I really think he's going to have a big year, and he's in a pitcher's ballpark. And like you said, if he can just stay healthy. All right, who are you thinking here?
Well, I already told you. I was giving you some time so we could slow down a little bit.
Oh, please.
Jorge Polanco.
So Brian Bayo, I love him, just went.
Mm-hmm.
Is it too early to dip into some of these injured guys? I think it is.
Well, again, remember your bench won't count, so play that accordingly, right? Those last.
So maybe I should dip into them.
It's up to you, whatever you think. I would probably avoid them just because they won't count for stats for the first, who knows how long.
Correct. You're right. Let's go. I need outfield, right? Let's go Jack Suwinski here. You wanted me to take him in the other draft? I took him here. Why do you like Jack Suwinski so much?
He's got a great power speed blend. And I think Pittsburgh's going to be better. A lot of people, I saw that they're in the bottom 5 in power rankings. I don't think they're bottom 5 team. I think they're better than that, especially we're going to see Paul Skeens this year. And I think Jack Suwinski is going to be another big part. I think he's going to have a huge year and much better than his ADP.
So that audible reaction you just heard was me losing out on Evan Phillips and me miscalculating and thinking he was going to come back to me.
It's so weird because I had assumed that these auto picks would take some of these injured guys, but they're not. I don't know why.
Oh, man, I think Senga's going to be back soon enough. I really do. I know it doesn't count for the first couple months, but his numbers are going to be so good. I took Kodai Senga.
Okay.
I think of any of those injured guys, and that includes Walker Buehler, Garrett Cole. I think Senga's the most reliable.
Yeah, and typically, like at this point in the draft is when I stop taking pitching because it is so volatile. But since I can't change my lineup, I may take another arm here. A guy that I think, well, it's so hard finding guys who are going to throw innings, especially at this point in the draft. But I do think, and I've been advocating for this guy quite a bit, so I'm gonna.
Can I guess?
Well, he's yeah.
Take him. Alzolay.
No.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of Reese Olson there.
All right.
Well,
it has you back on the clock?
Yeah, right. Okay, yours did that too.
Okay. I mean, I hear it, but I don't see you on the clock.
I think it's like spazzing out.
It is spazzing out a little bit. Now I see that's your
All
turn.
Right, now it's my turn again. This
I
really
hope people find this as entertaining as we are. Like, I'm having a good time.
I am too. I think you'd have to watch this episode in order to enjoy it. Otherwise,
yeah, just because it's going so quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time to sit here and talk about anything.
Yeah, if it was a little bit slower, it would be, we'd have more time. That kind of is superfluous. We get that. Ooh, there are two guys I really like. You went Seth Lugo.
I did go Seth Lugo. Big Seth Lugo guy. Because again,
Clay Holmes just went.
Yeah. Clay Holmes, Kentamaeda. Again, like we can't dip into our bench. So I want to make sure that I'm getting guys
more injured guys here. I'm going to go Jared Kelenic. And the reason why is he's now plays for the Braves. I need an outfielder. And it would be typical Mets for him to just be great. Wouldn't it?
Yeah. And I think it's, typical Mets.
For him to do it on the Braves.
But he was with Seattle.
He was. Not anymore.
But why would that be typical Mets?
Because the Mets traded him to Seattle. He was part of the Robinson Cano trade.
I actually did not know that. I thought he came up with Seattle this whole time.
No, sir. I mean, I could be wrong, but look that up. I know who I'm going here. Sure. I'm so high on the Giants. Should I be nervous that I'm this high on the Giants? I went Matt Chapman. I needed a third baseman.
This is going to be a reach. He's going to make it back to me, but I don't care. I will go Henry Davis here, which is sad because he's going to get catcher eligibility. So he could fit into that util spot, but I'm very high on Henry Davis. I think Henry Davis is going to have a big year. So I have no problem filling up that util spot right here. So I will do that in a second, but I don't see, let's see. So Jared Kelenic trade.
Look up the Robinson Cano trade.
Mets deal Kelenic. Oh wait, I found it.
Yeah, you got a few seconds here, so take your pick, right? That's your guy, Davis.
For Robinson Cano. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I know sports. I may not be a great fantasy guy. I know sports.
You know sports better than I do, like as a whole, 100%. I just didn't know that.
I'm a big New York bias, and because we didn't have time to talk about, we'll talk about my notes after we're finished drafting here.
Sure.
Because we each have two more picks.
This one might seem kind of weird, but I like this guy. I think, especially in a redraft league and one of these kinds of leagues, I think he's going to make a lot of sense. I'm taking Justin Turner.
I like that for you. So would you have gone Turner over Matt Chapman?
Maybe. Yeah, possibly. Although I am a big Matt Chapman fan. I think that's a coin flip. I certainly don't think that's, if I have no problem with someone taking Matt Chapman. New team. Gotcha. He was one of the best hitters in baseball last year. I would not knock that at all.
I still like this guy. I like the upside. I think he's going to stay healthy. You knocked the pick. Starling Marte.
Yeah, not bad. I hope he does. I have him on a few teams. I want him to do well.
Why'd you knock the pick?
Because I think I don't remember all of your offensive picks, but you had quite a bit of injury already, if I'm not mistaken, and you were low on outfield. So to take a guy who is kind of injury riddled, and you already have quite a few IL spots that you're probably going to take up with some of your pitchers. It was more about that, the lack of IL spots. There's only 2 IL spots in our league, so that was more my thought. Love your Ezekiel Duran pick.
I love the guy. I don't know what to tell you.
I am not sure if I know where to go here. Do I go catcher and just I don't have any shares of this guy, so I will take one here. I will go Logan O'Hoppe. Fill up my catcher spot. And now I just need
I love Logan O'Hoppe.
One pitcher and one middle infield.
In my other league, I missed out on him because I bid him. I put him up for bid for $1 in the auction league when I was out of my budget, so I only could bid max $1. By the way, I was gonna go Brent Rooker. He just went. I was thinking about him versus Duran, and I figured stay true to my guns. I think Duran's gonna have a big year and he's gonna play all over, so he's gonna get playing time.
This one, there's a lot of ways to go. Do I go one upside pick? Or do I go with a little bit safer floor? I think I'm going to go for the upside here. And someone that's, again, I don't normally take this route. And if this was a money league, I may not make this pick. But I do think I am going to go for the moon here because I think it's only a matter of time before he is up. Taking Paul Skeens.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, and then I just need a middle infielder.
So I got 2 pitchers left, and I really need saves. You like Cutter Crawford or Jose Alvarado?
Well, Cutter Crawford, I think, is going to be a starter, so I would take Jose Alvarado. If you're looking for saves.
Or Jose. I don't like I don't really like him because I'm scared he's going to lose the job. You feel me?
Sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we don't really know what that's going to shake out to be. It could be a little bit of a timeshare the whole way. Nobody knows.
What does Sonny Gray have? Oh, I saw it. I actually tweeted about this. I said I'm really nervous about it. Oh, you know who I'm going here? I have way too much East Coast bias, but this guy's going to be awesome this year. You want to take one guess?
Well, you need a pitcher, and it's probably a reliever. So,
I'm between 2. No, I'm not taking Cole. I'm between 2.
I don't know. Severino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm between Severino and Stroman, and I'm thinking like Severino's going to have a freaking awesome year.
I hope so.
And the Mets are going to be good. I'm not a Met fan. Positive, sure, but not a Met fan.
Now this one,
by the way,
guys.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
I don't know if I like Rosario, Westbrook, or Tim Anderson here. Just needed to fill this middle infield, and I think those are the 3 best left here.
Who do you have?
Who do
you want?
Probably go between Ahmed Rosario.
Go McNeil.
Anderson. Should I go McNeil?
Go Gavin Lux. I love Gavin Lux.
You like McNeil? Maybe I'll go McNeil.
I think Jordan Westbrook's going to have a good year. He's starting in the majors. I don't know why people are so down on him.
I think people are worried that Jackson Holiday comes up.
All right, you went Tim Anderson, a guy who we talked about on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens the rest of the picks? Should we just turn it off?
We could auto pick it. Yeah, or we could even do whatever you want to keep drafting and just go for some, I don't know, go for some cheese or something.
No,
I don't know what that looks like. No, just auto. Okay.
Yeah, I'll auto it. Yeah. But let me just read my team to you. So I have this is funny. I have Kelnick because the Mets.
Right.
I have by the way, Brendan Donovan auto picked him for me. I love that guy.
I got auto pick Jeff McNeil, by the way. So
it serves you right, buddy. You cannot put him into your lineup though over Tim Anderson, and he's going to have a better year than Tim Anderson. So screw you. That's not happening.
No, maybe I should have went with Jeff McNeil, but
And another. Oh no, that's not you. I thought you got JP Sears. I was like, oh man, you got the guy who didn't. All right, doesn't matter. I went.
Yeah, read off your lineup. Start off with catcher or something. Read off your lineup. What do you got?
Wait, first, just my non-Mets bias: Starling Marte, Kodai Senga, and Luis Severino, and Kelnick's technically because I'm a Mets fan. I'm not a Mets fan though. I'm really not. All right, at catcher, I have Yanni or Diaz. He was the 12th round. I think for the round he was taken in, not bad. Great lineup. Showed some stuff when he came up. Hopefully improves. But I really took him because Cal Riley was taken right before, and because I was thinking catcher and I didn't have time to think. Like immediately, I was like, "Oh, panic!" Took him. So that was the problem there. Freddie Freeman because I needed Freddie Freeman. Tyro Estrada because he's going to be great. Matt Chapman, high upside pick, playing for another contract. He's my third baseman, and he's playing on a team that I think is going to be good in San Francisco. Bo Bichette, don't let the name fool you and the lineup fool you. The numbers are as good as any of the top shortstops in the league. Just look at the numbers.
Bo Bichette, I will say real quick too before I love the Bo Bichette pick in the third round. I think that value is just going to look ridiculously good at this point next year.
Yep, I agree.
He's very underrated, which is
Bryce
just surprising.
Harper was a change it up pick. I love Bryce, and I couldn't fathom not having Bryce. It's funny, Bryce Harper and Freddie Freeman are actually both on my auction league team. So those are we talked about when you talked about my draft. You talked about targeting guys. So this brings it back to the Adley thing a little bit. He was a guy I targeted. I think he's far better than any other catcher. So I planted my flag on that. You talk about the planting your flag guy. So I guess Harper and Freeman were a couple of those guys for me. Xander Bogaerts, when I got him for $10 in the other league, I was like, man, that's actually value. So even though we didn't talk so highly of him, and we actually got some people told us in the comments that they don't love that we were talking down Xander Bogaerts. I actually do like that pick. In the 7th round. Chas McCormick in the 11th was great. I think Selwinski in the 15th is good value. Kelnick in the 17th. Again, it would just be typical Mets. And then Marte, if he can stay healthy, Duran and Ozuna round out my offense. And I think Ozuna can just mash this year. So, you know what I mean? That could ultimately in the 10th round, getting Ozuna, which was my auto pick, could be the best pick of this draft. Like, what if he hits 40 home runs? And drives in 100.
Shocked. Yeah, I mean, he could do 100, 110, 115. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, with Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised at all batting in the middle of that lineup. Now, my pitching, it's funny because I talked about it like I have this fire pitching. I do think my pitching is really good because think about it. I went 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 8th round, and 9th round, all pitching. Now, considering that I went all those rounds pitching, maybe my pitching should be better than it actually is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think it's actually very good. Logan Webb, Dylan Cease, Grayson Rodriguez, who I'm hoping for a high season just because I saw Al Leiter today and he told me he thought Grayson was going to have a good year. Camilo Duvall, Merrill Kelly, Tristan McKenzie, Kodai Senga, Jose Alvarado, Luis Severino.
The thing I will say about your pitching that I do like, especially with those first 2 picks, Logan Webb and Dylan Cease, in this kind of draft, it is balanced, but in this kind of draft too, you want guys who are going to give you innings, right? Because you can't be betting on a Tyler Glass now to throw as many innings as Logan Webb or Dylan's. Like, it's just not going to happen. So,
especially because I did go with the risky business of Senga. I really think Senga is going to be back by the end of April, though. And any other pitcher on the board at that point is going to miss time because pitchers miss time anyway. So if there's a 20% chance another pitcher misses time that I don't know about yet, and he's coming back and giving you, 3rd round value for the last 5 months of the season, I don't know.
And I do think even Merrill Kelly gives you that high floor. I think G-Rod, that you took 4 high floor pitchers, which I absolutely love. And then it allowed you to take some riskier guys like Tristan McKenzie or Senga, guys that still have some question marks. Severino's another one. So I think you did a great job because you threw some darts that could, really pay off. But at the same time, you did that after you built a solid floor. I think that's a great strategy right there.
I think so too. All right, let's go through your lineup. I'm looking at it here. So talk to me.
Sure. So my team, Rami Noodles. Catcher, I went Logan O'Hoppe. He's a guy
First person to ever come up with that joke. Yes, continue.
Does it take you back to middle school? Maybe. I don't know.
No. For various reasons, no.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so I just felt like the 20th round, Logan O'Hoppe, like I do think he's going to end up as one of the top 10 catchers this year. He's a guy that's extremely underrated. Just, I think, coming off the injury last year, he had a shoulder issue, but when he came back last year, he was phenomenal. So no qualms about Logan O'Hoppe. I think he's going to pick up right where he left off. And he was a very highly ranked guy coming into last year. So I think people are just going to miss the boat this year, but we'll see. Second, I went Encarnacion Strand. Well, 10th round Encarnacion Strand. Rami,
I love the O'Hoppe pick, by the way.
Thank you. Don't be surprised if Encarnacion Strand, especially now that he's locked into playing time with Noelle being out, don't be surprised if CES hits 35 bombs this year and drives in.
I would be surprised, but if you're telling me not to be, I won't be.
I do not be surprised. This guy can mash. He's got plenty of power. So
I'll put a reminder on my phone for September to not be surprised when Encarnacion Strand hits 35 home runs.
No Midwest bias here either. And then second base, Jorge Polanco bounced back here. Love him. Got him in the 15th round. I think that's great value as well.
This might be your steal of the draft.
Mm-hmm. Jorge.
Second round, 6th pick.
Oh, second round, 6th pick. Austin Riley, yeah. Just, in the middle of, we know what we're going to get from Austin Riley. And that's,
he could put up better numbers than Freddie Freeman and no one would blink an eye.
Yeah, 100%. And he just being in such a good team, like best offense in baseball, I think Atlanta,
he's going to be better than Bryce Harper. And I took Bryce over him. I know for a fact that Riley's probably going to be better.
He'll have better counting stats just being on a better team. But Bryce, I'm a big Bryce Harper fan. Then
I just took a bet. This was a fun bet. So it was on when I went to MLB today, because I used to not be able to gamble in baseball when I worked there, just kind of out of like a little bit of spite, I placed a bunch of baseball future bets. I bet the Rays over 90 runs, over 90 wins, which I thought was, huge. I think the Rays are easily going to win 90 wins. It was like plus 250 to get them 90 plus wins. I'm like, that is going to bang so easy. The Knicks have 111 points through 3 quarters. That is stupid. Yeah. So I love the Rays over 90 wins. And the other one was, it was a slugger bet. Which slugger would you rather? Because they kind of set it up. And one of the options was, and they were both even odds. So they're both like minus 110. Bryce Harper or Mike Trout to hit more home runs. And I took Bryce Harper. You're muted still, but I think I could unmute you.
Sorry, I was muted because I was coughing and I wanted to.
Yes, I saw that.
Sorry about that. No, I think that's I would much rather take Bryce Harper. We don't know if Mike Trout's going to play 100 games, right?
Oh, no, I think the two of them combined could play 200 games total between the two of them, and no one would be shocked. But hey, Bryce could play 150 of those.
yeah, I like that. And so then, yes, I went shortstop with O'Neal Cruz in the 5th round. I think O'Neal Cruz.
By the way, the number I picked when I said 200 was way too high. I should have said like those guys could play 150 games combined and no one would blink. Anyway, continue.
And Bryce Harper would have 150.
No, he'd have 100 of them.
I wouldn't call Bryce Harper injury prone. I mean, he got hurt.
He had that one injury. That
was it. I mean, he really hasn't been injury prone his career, and he's playing first base. So I think that's a good pick. Corner infield of Justin Turner and middle infield Tim Anderson, two older guys who I'm betting on a bounce back from TA, and I think Justin Turner is still just undervalued at now that he's on Toronto, and getting him in the 19th round I think is good value.
Very good value. I like when I looked at him, I was like, man, maybe I should have taken him ahead of Matt Chapman. Like that's what I thought when you made that pick. Yeah,
and they're comparable, right? I think Matt Chapman certainly has a higher ceiling than Justin Turner.
For sure.
But Justin Turner,
I do think he's still playing for another big contract, whereas Justin Turner is really hanging on.
He's trying to. Honestly, I think Justin Turner's playing for a ring. Like, why else would you be playing for a good team at 39 years old?
Why is he in Toronto?
Exactly. Well, yeah, because they got a good ball club up there. And then outfield, yes, I went Rosarena. He wasn't my first one. The first one was Kyle Tucker. And then I went Randy Cowboy in the 4th round, followed by Teo in the 9th, which I think I totally sniped you on. I think Teoscar is going to have a good year.
Dude, Teoscar, I was mad about that one.
This next one, Wyatt Langford, is one that I typically don't take the risk on, but I I don't know if you've been following Wyatt Langford, but Wyatt feels like, I mean, he already feels like a lock for 150
I'll say
games.
since I
And
haven't.
are you serious? Because, oh my goodness, if you haven't, you got to start catching on. This kid led spring training in RBIs.
Wow,
Just
and you know how much
massive.
spring training means.
And you may say it doesn't mean much, but some of those, if you look at the people who are leading the spring training stats, it's not any slouches, right? Like it's guys who are good players who got off to hot starts. And again, I'm not taking spring training stats and saying it means the world, but I already had very high expectations for Wyatt, and I think the fact that Langford that he came into spring training and lit it up just kind of solidified. Okay, he's ready, and to get him at pick whatever that was 127, yeah, that's a steal. Give me that.
Yeah,
And then
so I ended up taking in that ninth round. I took Merrill Kelly and then Marcelo Ozuna in the 10th coming back around. So
yep.
I'm mad about Teoscar. I think he's gonna have a big year in LA. He might be getting a lot of playing time at DH if some unforeseen things go down.
Would you bet on it?
I would.
Yeah.
No, I would bet on him not being suspended at all. If I'm answering honestly.
No, yeah, I don't think he will. And then Kerry Carpenter in the 14th round. I'm in love with the Tigers. I think Carpenter's going to have a good year. And then Henry Davis. That's another one that feels like a steal. Honestly, Rami, I think I'm winning this league. Because then my pitching goes Luis Castillo, Bobby
I
Miller.
love Luis Castillo. No, here's the thing though. Like, again, for you, Carpenter, Langford, Davis, all those guys are guys that are young, even in Encarnacion Strand, young hype guys. Like, what if they don't all pan out to be as great as they're hyped up to be?
And you're right, but I think that's why, I think
because you're the guy who talks always about floor. I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, I think my biggest threats to bottoming out would be Jorge Polanco because of an injury. I would think maybe Tim Anderson doesn't bounce back, but after that, I don't think CES is I pick guys who I don't necessarily think they've all proven themselves. Like CES proved himself last year. Logan O'Hoppe proved himself. Yeah, these are sophomore years, if you will, but guys don't typically just come up and that's when they fail. Like if they're going to fail, they'll fail right away. Maybe they stumble a little bit in year two, but I don't think that they have like a bad floor. I think all of the guys that I've picked, even Kerry Carpenter, like they've all shown that they can hit at the major league level. So I'm really not concerned, to be honest. Langford, he may stumble, halfway through the year. It's a long season. Maybe he's not ready for that. Same thing with Henry Davis, but I think I'm willing to take the gamble. But you're absolutely right. If I look back at some of my old mock drafts and best balls,
I'm
Brian
not a
Reynolds
gambling man, but if I was, I would agree with you on all these gambles.
Well, we'll see. That's the beauty of this is we get to come back at the end of the year. Seth Lugo, I'm not sure how I feel about 17th round. I think I just needed an arm that I think is going to throw quite a few innings. Last year he threw 146.
Yeah, I was interested in that pick, but yeah, I think you're right. At that point in the draft, it makes sense. Continue.
Yeah, I just needed innings. Now that Jordan Montgomery signed, he probably won't start opening day, right? But I don't think it'll take him long to ramp up.
Wait, Seth Lugo.
I'm sorry?
Is he not in Kansas City?
No, I said Jordan Montgomery. Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I got
but
you.
Yes, Seth Lugo is in Kansas City. Yes. Yeah, it'll take Jordan Montgomery a little bit to ramp up. Reese Olson, maybe a little bit of a risky pick. I'm not sure.
That's the thing. Like Jordan Montgomery could have 2 more starts, maybe, than Kodai Senga. Am I being too optimistic on Kodai?
I think maybe a little bit. Let me see what the latest. I don't know if they have the latest.
The latest was that he's progressing well.
Played light catch, 6-week ramp up process, mid-May, early mid-May. So I see what you mean. So let's say he comes back, May 15th or something like that, and it takes Jordan Montgomery
3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks. So, 1, 2, 3, that might be 4 or 5 starts of a difference. Which round did you get Senga in? The 16th versus I got Montgomery in the where is he? Montgomery in the 12th. So, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
4
think you
rounds.
guys could
Yeah.
value on.
And by the way, the innings could be similar because
yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
Maybe a
It's
little
tough.
bit of
No,
higher
you're
of a win total on Montgomery, but I took him 4 rounds higher. I
yeah.
don't think that's I don't think your Senga pick was bad if everything progresses.
I don't know if
now.
there's 4 rounds of a gap, and the upside of Senga, no one else at that point in the draft
Right.
was going to be there, and that's where what I look at there.
Someone named Mr. Paul Skeens might have something to add about that. How do you know Paul Skeens doesn't have just as much value? Paul Skeens is my Kodai Senga to your.
Are you trying to play my trick,
Jordan Montgomery? Yes, I am, because if you're talking about high upside later, Paul Skeens brings just as much as I think Kodai Senga. Like,
yeah, I mean,
they could have the same timeline, right? Who knows?
and he's got motivation because he's dating Livy Dunn. So I mean,
Exactly.
there's all the motivation I would need to pitch well.
He's got the stash, and I mean, I think he threw, I want to say it was 120 innings plus playoffs last year in LSU, and then he played in
the minors,
professional ball. In professional. Yeah, he played at LSU, and then he got drafted, and then he pitched again. Like, he's got the arm to do it. He really does.
Yeah. So that was your last pick that's going to be in your lineup, correct?
Yeah. So that was pretty much Ed Skeens. And
crazy, we've done 55 minutes considering we did a fast draft. A couple of points that I wanted to make, and then we'll wrap it up. Is that all you wanted to do on that draft? And
please, what else you got?
We'll keep track of this as we go throughout the season. I think it'll be fun for us to track this. I look so small next to you on this little layout we have here. Okay. Adley, I told you my thing. I appreciate the A grade for Jones, Walker, and Bellinger, because I think those were key picks in my draft where I was like, okay, I want Bellinger to be my outfielder. I want Jones is another outfielder who I personally am not as high on as everyone else, just because I haven't seen him play a ton. That's really the only reason why. So it's more like, I'm a big eyeball test. I could tell a guy is a guy if I'm using my eyeballs. So that's the guy ball test.
Is that a thing? A guy ball? I've never heard that.
It's a part of my take thing.
I see. Okay.
You've never heard that? Dude,
no,
you're a
that's
Chicago
funny.
guy. You should be all over part of my take now. Yeah.
No.
I think it's a Barstool Big Cat thing. Although it's probably invented by PFT, because he is like the, when it comes to like just those sharp like comments, he is that guy. That's why he's the PFT commenter. Man, this 2023 World Series hat, so funny. Yeah. So I'm a big guy ball test guy. Haven't seen a ton of Nolan Jones. I love Christian Walker. I like Cody Bellinger. I think Bellinger's playing for another contract. I think Walker's a good guy to have at first base. So you saying those 3 picks when I needed 2 outfielders and a first baseman were good. Appreciate that. The Devin Williams pick sucks. There was no one I loved there. That's not on your fault, though. But there was no one I loved there, and I was scared of not get. Basically, I was scarred from not getting saves in my other league. I had no saves, and I basically punted on the position in my in my auction league. That I was like, I need to get saves. When in reality, I could have just gotten Holtz. Like, I could have gotten Michael King. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was upset about it in the moment. And after the fact, I'm still upset about it. I think someone was taken either right before that, because that was like on the turn. I don't have it up in front of me right now.
I do. I can present it.
Yeah. So that was kind of where I was like, Devin Williams, I didn't love. And now he could miss the season.
So you took Devin Williams 8-2.
Yeah. Who was the pick before that?
Christian Walker. Oh, right before it was Wyatt Langford.
And before that?
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, no, neither of those guys. Who was taken after?
You had Yelich, William Contreras, Xander Bogaerts, Tristan Casas, Josh Lowe. I said you should have taken this next guy, who I ended up taking, Ha-Seong Kim.
Right, because you thought I needed a second baseman, which I didn't. You retracted that.
I did.
I probably would have taken who was the second guy you said right after me?
William Contreras.
I probably would have taken Will, but I already had
You already
Adley.
got a
Like
catcher. See?
that's what I'm saying. Like there, I was in a weird spot, and so I panicked, and I thought he was the best guy on the board, and I was like, you know
And
what? I'm gonna be awesome at saves, and then it's gonna bust mostly because of his like. If he actually got the saves, it would be fine. You know what I mean? If he was healthy, it's not as terrible a pick as you think.
well,
It's
yes,
a bad
but
pick,
do
but
you
it's not a
remember?
terrible pick.
Did you remember? You're right. Do you remember what I said about Kyle Finnegan too? When I did the recap,
No.
Kyle Finnegan had 28 saves and 8 holds last year, which is 36, which just so happens to be how many saves Devin Williams had last year.
And he had no
So,
holds.
like, how many holds did Devin Williams have? Devin Williams had 0 holds.
Right. You're right. No,
So
you're 100% right on that.
you get just as many saves holds from getting Kyle Finnegan 20 rounds later than you get from taking Devin Williams.
I know. I looked at the rankings. I was like, I don't know. It was like the only pick that I really just had no idea. I had no direction. And I kind of should have just used the long draft to my benefit and thought about it more. And I didn't.
Were you thinking of Christian? I like this Christian Yelich pick. Were you thinking about Christian Yelich at all or no?
I wasn't. I just, again, he's another guy who, like, it feels like he's been on the verge of falling off for the last few years. And I just would rather be a year out a year early on him than a year late. I know in that point of the draft, there's not a ton of you're not thinking about, you should be thinking about upside, I guess. I'm not sure.
Again, I think it depends. I mean, with this kind of league, right? I took my upside in the 6th round and the 7th round when I went Jazz Chisholm and Royce Lewis back to back.
Yep.
But every other pick, I had a thinking or a thought process of floor in mind, like Santander, high floor, Aaron Nola, Pablo Lopez, like Francisco Lindor, Bryce Harper, Juan Soto. All of those guys are high floor. And so I felt like I was allowed to take a little bit of a risk. So like when you say, maybe reaching for a little bit of risk, I think it makes sense to go for some risk there because you've built up like Christian Walker, very safe pick, Nolan Jones, Cody Bellinger, Adley Rutschman. All of those guys are going to play, and they all are safe in their own regard. Yeah. So I see what you're saying about taking some risk there. Yeah, 100%. I think that's a good spot to take it. Now, if you were a different team, like Rick Astley fans, one of my friends, Ben, he took Shohei. Not really that risky, but doesn't allow much flexibility. And then Yordan, who's
not risky, no.
Risky. Kyle Schwarber, not maybe risky, but like just
volatile.
A lot of uncertainty. Yeah, a lot of volatility. And so he had to be a little bit safer, which is why I like his Gleyber Torres, Tristan Casas.
Oh, I love the Gleyber Torres pick. You know that. I'm a big Gleyber guy.
So
anyway, I went the Keller. I'm hoping for upside.
Sure.
Obviously, the Mitch Keller pick because he was, like you said, the best pitcher in baseball for half the year.
Yeah.
Chris Bassett, I think, is a floor pick. You talk so much about floor picks. I actually think that's a floor pick. I think he's a really solid pitcher with high upside.
I think that was a great pick. Chris Bassett.
Oh, you didn't say that, though.
I'm sorry. I meant to if I did. I mean, he threw 200 innings last year. And 181 the year before, and good ratio.
You said that because my pitching was a little bit weak, so those two you kind of bundled together, and I was like, so I just wanted to clear. You didn't hate them, you just didn't love them.
I think I bundled Keller with him because I think you just could have done better with an SB2. That was all.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, Bassett being my SB2 is not the greatest, but again, I think he could be really solid. And him and Keller together, if one of them goes off and then the other one is just solid, I like it,
Yeah.
Let's think about so the Chaz pick I mentioned earlier was the one I really deliberated and I thought was a really good pick. So I appreciate the love on that one. Second base, again, fell off fast, so I went to Strata. We hit on that already. I think Marte and Stroman are straight East Coast bias picks, Now, This is funny. So Kenta Maeda. This is what happens sometimes with a long draft. I don't even know who. I was listening to some podcast or some show, and I heard someone say he's going to have high upside. I was like, and it was that day, and I was like, oh, it's my pick. And I just heard somebody talking up Maeda. Let me take him. That's literally what happened. It was nothing else. That's how it goes sometimes. And then the Duran pick is just like, my lineup's very injury prone. So I love that he's got versatility. And then I mentioned here, I love that Jordan Hicks pick. And I know that you kind of retracted your statement on that. And I think Jose Siri, Tampa's going to win 90 plus games, and Jose Siri is going to play outfield, and he's going to steal a ton of bases. Where was I getting those amount of stolen bases that late in the draft, right? And he still hits home runs.
Can I ask about your Jason Dominguez pick? You like Jason Dominguez there? New York bias?
So I know that it's taking up an entire roster spot or reserve spot, injury reserve spot.
Right.
I really think he's going to come back and be the guy. Like, we saw him for a week, and he was just awesome. Like, what if this guy is as good as he's hyped?
That's very
and
possible.
I just have 3 months of a freaking stud in the middle of my, like, who totally changes. Like the way people feel about Jackson Holiday coming up in, like, what, early May, end of April?
Hard to say, but yeah.
Like, what if that type of production, not to the level of Jackson Holiday, but just this guy who comes up and totally changes your league in end of June, early July?
Yeah.
He's ahead of schedule. He's been playing catch. He's been hitting. Like, he's been doing all these things. Like, what if? And so, like, if I was going to bet on someone and it was not Ohtani, it would probably be Jason Dominguez.
That's fair. I would.
Probably East Coast bias too. I don't know.
Maybe a little, but again, plant your flags, right? Get your guys, because
I think I have in my other league also. Like, for $1, I was like, at that point in the draft, just grab them.
Yeah, for $1, you can't beat it. My thought is there are going to be so many guys who come up this year that are going to have an impact that probably haven't been drafted. Like, who did I just pick up in this league? Victor Scott, I just picked up, right? I don't know if you've been following the Cardinals saga, but Victor Scott looks like he's in line for a start opening day. And so I want a guy who can steal 90 bases, but he was on waivers. Like, there are so many guys that I think are going to come up and offer upside pretty quickly that I wouldn't hold on to him personally, but I'm not going to knock you for doing it. If Jordan Hicks stays healthy, if, Stroman, Maeda, Donovan all can kind of be healthy for the most part, I think that's going to look like a great pick halfway through the year.
All right. Speaking of waivers, baseball starts today. If you're listening to this, it's Thursday. On Sunday into Monday morning, we are going to overreact to the first 3 games of the year. That's what we do. And we're going to tell you, if somebody goes off in those 3 days, somebody gets hurt in those 3 days, we're going to hit you with those waivers. We're going to be like, oh, you better go pick up this guy, that guy on waivers. So we'll have our overreactions to opening weekend and a waivers ads, our first waivers ads podcast of the year coming up on Monday morning. So look out for that. If you didn't watch this episode, you missed out on getting to watch me eat. That's one. So I apologize for that. And you should, because we actually had the draft up in front of us. And so you could actually see, and you're probably not wondering. And by the way, if you made it to an hour and 7 minutes and you weren't watching the podcast and you were just listening, you are a miracle. You are special and talented and really probably very smart. So, and you're very smart for listening to this podcast, Vince, and I appreciate it. And so please like, subscribe, share it. The feedback, I spoke to Ryan today, the feedback from, the numbers are doing well and everyone's enjoying it. So I appreciate that. And I thought you said some really cool things, how you ended the show. So I'm going to let you end the podcast. I thought your show was awesome. I know I couldn't make it to that show, but I thought your show was really good. And you had some closing remarks that made me feel like, man, I really want to listen to this podcast again. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, no, I like.
I barely shat on you this whole podcast, by the way. This whole
which is weird. That's very
odd.
for you. Yeah,
I know. Don't worry, we'll be doing it. The point of this draft was to have some smack talk, but we'll do it hopefully next episode.
Yeah, I mean, unless one of us is losing, then that you're just gonna cry.
That's good. You know what? We have two leagues to talk about. Overreaction. Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
No, I like that we did a little bit of a casual one tonight, because we're going to be hitting it hard on Monday or Sunday night, right? And like you said, overreactions, we're going to give people, everything that they need to know for waiver wire pickups and just what to look out for as we progress. So very excited for that.
I'm excited as well, and you should be too. If you want to be up to date and locked in on everything going on with fantasy baseball and where to go, who to go, you're going to hear it from us first, and you're going to hear the best analysis here. And we're also going to have a good time, as you saw from this episode, which was really just more relaxed and having a good time. So that was the point of this episode. Until next time, please like, subscribe, share the podcast with a friend. Until then, see ya on Monday. Happy opening day, everyone. See ya.